Today on Monkey Life, chimp Kaloo learns to cooperate when she's moved on to daily insulin injections to tackle her diabetes.
Shoulder. Oh, it's a good girl, Kaloo.
The Gwenons welcome a new addition to the family.
Baby is a little bit smaller than Biff, but looking great, you know, all fingers, toes, everything's present.
And the clever Capuchins solve a prickly problem. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
You just never know how it's going to work.
The park provides a home for more than 260 monkeys and apes from 24 different species. It's been 5 months since chimp Kaloo arrived at the park. She'd been kept as a pet in South Africa for more than 35 years, without company of her own kind. But despite this, the elderly female is settling in well with Brian's group. Introductions so far have gone fairly smoothly, and Kaloo is now enjoying the outside enclosure. But her health is giving cause for concern.
Kaloo's an older animal and she obviously lived on her own for a long time, so it's quite difficult to separate whether it's just behaviourally that she's an older chimp that's stuck in her ways and this is all new to her, or whether actually she's just not feeling very well. And so I think we have to rule out the latter and make sure she's as healthy as she can be so that she can cope with introductions, which for any animal is a stressful time.
Blood tests taken in South Africa and a later health check at the park showed Kaloo has type 2 diabetes. As a result, she was put on oral medication to reduce the amount of sugar she releases and absorbs, and her diet is carefully managed. But she hasn't improved as much as the team would have liked.
Oh, Kaloo. Hey, beautiful. Hi. Oh, this is good.
They've now taken the big decision to move Kaloo onto daily injectable insulin.
Shoulder. Oh, it's a good girl, Kaloo.
But the change in treatment creates a whole host of different issues for the primate care team and Kaloo to overcome.
Good girl. Well done, Kaloo.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big decision to put an animal on insulin because you're making a commitment that you can get that animal over to you firstly on a daily basis in a reliable way and at the same time each day to provide them with that medication. And it's quite an advanced behaviour and one that has to be reinforced at quite a high level to make sure that you don't lose that behaviour. So it was a big decision. But of course, we're trying to integrate Kaloo into the group, and until she's feeling well and we've got her medical issues under control, it's very difficult to move forward with the introduction. So she's been a difficult one and it's been a long road with her and we're not really there yet.
The team are still trying to understand her likes and dislikes.
She's so incredibly fussy. Like, she'll love food one day. Like, so for instance, yesterday, strawberries were the best thing in the world. Today, they weren't worth getting out of bed for. So it's just a constant battle with you because you change your mind every day on what foods you like. Yeah.
Kaloo has her glucose levels checked regularly each day. The results indicate how much insulin she requires. The fact that she cooperates demonstrates the level of trust the primate care staff have already established with her in a relatively short period.
Oh, you've come down a bit. That's good. Good job.
The team have also been able to draw on their experience with Bart, whose type 1 diabetes they're successfully managing. But Kaloo's background is more complex.
We've still got a long way to go with her, I think, but she's certainly in a better place, and we are providing her with some social time with the other chimps and hopefully making her feel better. We're taking it a day at a time with Kaloo at the moment.
It's a challenging time for Kalu and her carers, but the team will continue to monitor her closely as she adjusts to life at the park. In the last few days, there's been some very exciting news for the park's red-bellied Gwenon family. Benny and Nia have welcomed a second baby to join Biff, their firstborn.
Nia's doing really well. Baby is a little bit smaller than Biff, but looking great, all fingers, toes, everything's present. Nia's been pretty good. She's been carrying baby round, making sure that nobody's getting too close and everything's looking really good.
The staff aren't sure what sex the baby is, so it doesn't have a name yet. The new infant spent the first day indoors with her family to give Mum Nia a chance to recover and enable the team to keep a watchful eye on the pair. They needn't have worried. Nia is proving to be an amazing mum, just as she was with daughter Biff, who's now just over a year old. Because space is at a premium, the park doesn't generally breed from its resident primates, keeping any spare capacity for those still in need of rescue. But the family are the only red-bellied Gwenons known in captivity. Parents Benny and Nia were stolen from the wilds of Benin, where they would have lived in sociable family groups. That's why the team decided it would be good for the pair to have a family of their own. It's proved to be a rewarding decision.
Nia seems pretty chilled with the new baby. She obviously had Biffy that she raised, and there were a few times that her mothering style was slightly unorthodox, but she kind of got there in the end. She seems a bit more on top of it with this newest arrival. She is still Nia though, so she does do things like plonk baby down next to her on a platform so both hands are free for foraging so she can scoff as much food as possible. But she's very attentive when baby sort of starts to move or she wants to get up and move away. She does grab baby and make sure that she's looking after it.
Nia has the added help of Dad Benny, who's proving to be an excellent parent too. As well as giving his partner space to look after their newborn, he also keeps their hyperactive daughter Biff busy and entertained. The Gwenons have two additional housemates in their enclosure, Patas monkey Mitza and the park's oldest ring-tailed lemur, George. Mitza seems keen to get a look at the new addition to her home. She's a very observant monkey and extremely patient, even when little Biff is teasing her. She can be very tolerant. The new infant is proving an interesting distraction.
Mitza's not quite brave enough to go close, but Nia's very chilled out about it. She's certainly not chasing Mitza off, and she seems pretty relaxed. She knows Mitza and George are no threat. George, who knows if he's even noticed there's another Gwenon there. The only person that Nia's really told off is us occasionally. If we come over to see what the baby's doing, she does sort of jump over just to make sure we're not trying anything. But everything seems really chilled there.
Gwenon Nia is taking motherhood in her stride, with plenty of love to spare for both her babies. Another youngster who's been showered with care and attention since arriving at the park is 3-year-old Hujan. He's now a fully integrated member of Tuan's group of orangutans. And with foster mum Roro for support, he's thriving and growing bolder by the day. The young male, whose mother rejected him, has come on leaps and bounds since being rehomed 18 months ago from a zoo in Germany. The members of his new family at the park have welcomed him with open arms. Leader Tuan is 33 years old and a great role model for the youngster. He's good with the adult females and the younger members of his group. Roro has become Hujan's adoptive mum and does a great job of looking out for him. She's always there to offer comfort when needed. He also has the added backup of Ame, an experienced foster mum who used to be in charge of the nursery. Like all youngsters, Hujan loves to play. He spends most of his time outside on the climbing frame and cargo nets. He has amazing strength and agility and navigates the network of hoses and climbing poles with ease. He also has a friend and playmate in 8-year-old female Hujan. She's now growing up fast. But still loves nothing better than messing around and having fun. It's been a life-changing 18 months for little Hujan, but he's come through with flying colours. He's a happy and well-socialised little chap, comfortable with all his orangutan family. After months of planning, the park's big woolly swap is almost complete. The penultimate piece of the puzzle, moving 8-year-old Manny from the top woolies over to join the newly formed bachelor group, is about to take place. It's the most challenging piece of the jigsaw for the team, and a big move for feisty male Manny. He's lived in the same group since the day he was born. But now he's reached maturity, competition with his dad, Livar, means he has to move on.
He's a very serious monkey, so the other 3 boys in that bachelor group are fairly silly and a bit playful. Once they relax, we know that they'll all get along. We're not sure how Manny's going to take kind of coming into that group with 2 new males that he doesn't know. We're just going to have to sort of keep a close eye between him and Paolo, because he might see him as his immediate sort of threat. But because, again, Paolo is not a challenging male, we're hoping that Manny will just kind of move in nice and smoothly, and they'll all just get along.
Manny has been put into a travel box to be transported to his new home. At the bachelor group, he'll join 3 other males: 12-year-old Paolo, 3-year-old Claude, who's the youngest of the trio, and 5-year-old Carlos, who Manny has lived with previously. Paolo and Manny are half-brothers. Their dad is Livar, and they share a familial likeness. But they're very different characters, and the care team will need to monitor their meeting closely. Paolo is watching as Manny arrives at the house. All 3 resident males are agitated. The many recent changes have made them wary. They'll want to size up the competition and make their mark straight away.
Okay, I'm going to open.
Claude starts alarm calling as Manny makes his way to the playroom entrance and surveys his new surroundings. Young Claude takes a strategic position up high and out of the way as the big male enters the playroom.
I know, he's a big boy, isn't he?
Paolo bravely takes the initiative with a small display in front of Manny. His reaction is a short snuffle hello before beginning to explore his new home. It's an early positive sign. Carlos lived with Manny for a couple of years. He doesn't seem desperate to renew his acquaintance, but doesn't show any aggression. Surprisingly, it's Manny who does his best to rekindle a friendship. The gesture is accepted, although they still keep their distance. But today's introductions suggest the experimental new woolly bachelor group has every chance of success. At the spider monkey enclosure, the team are on a mission to challenge the trio who make up this small group. Compared with other species at the park, like the clever capuchins and great apes, the spider monkeys aren't the brightest or most dexterous of primates. But keeping them challenged and active is still a vital part of their everyday life. Today, the care team are trying something new, and a bit tricky.
We've kind of got these plastic tubes, and I don't know if you can see, but there's a Kong inside there. So they haven't had these before. It's going to be completely new for them. And then inside the Kong, we've put their breakfast. So there's some pineapple in there, which is quite an exciting breakfast for these guys, actually. Spider monkeys love fruit. So yeah, we're just going to try and see what they make of them. So if we pull them down, the Kong goes back up in the tube just to make it a little bit harder.
The problem for the spider monkeys will be manipulating the fruit out of the feeders.
Their hands aren't quite as dexterous as ours, so they don't have a thumb. They've got 4 very long, kind of slender fingers. So yeah, they can't kind of grab and manipulate things quite like we can, or say some of our other monkeys like our Capuchins. I imagine they're going to try and get all the way up there, but there are some little holes and stuff they might try and put their fingers through. They might try and get in there from the top, although I don't think they'll have much luck with that. So yeah, we'll see.
As usual, Pumpkin, the boss of the trio and the only female, leads the way. She's a very food-orientated monkey and wastes no time trying to tackle this morning's puzzle. But she's already a little perplexed. She can't work out how to get inside the tube to reach the food she loves. Perhaps there's an easier option elsewhere. All 3 spider monkeys are a little bemused. They can see the fruit, they can reach in and touch it, but they're flummoxed when it comes to getting the fresh pineapple out of the tube. Pumpkin thinks she may have the answer. She uses her long prehensile tail as a 5th limb to free up both hands, so she can manipulate the feeder. But even with this useful advantage, she has no luck. Flint may have cracked it. He's gone for one of the shorter feeders, which is a bit more manageable. It takes some figuring out, but after a short while, using hands, feet and teeth, he extracts the Kong with the fruit still inside. Pleased with himself and determined to hang on to his prize, he heads off to eat the pineapple away from the others. Elderly Hickory bides his time, happy to watch and learn as his other 2 housemates try again. Flint dislodges a pineapple chunk without realising it. But Pumpkin, her food sensors on full alert, spots it on the ground. In the wild, in the tropical forests of Central South America, fruit makes up the majority of a spider monkey's diet. It's the same for the trio at the park. But frustrated Pumpkin is coming up empty-handed. She heads off down the tunnel in the hope of finding easier pickings indoors. There are 5 groups of Capuchins at the park, and they're continually on the go. Keeping these small monkeys challenged and active is a constant battle. They're considered the most intelligent of all the New World monkeys. Today, Toby is taking advantage of some of the seasonal fruits and plants found around the park. He's giving Franco's group of 15 some juicy ripe blackberries still attached to the prickly brambles, and teasel plants with mealworms stuffed into the seed heads. He's placing them all over the Capuchin enclosure in awkward and hard-to-reach places.
Throughout the year, we like to vary different things we put in, and obviously throughout the seasons we have different things available. Obviously they have the stuff that grows naturally in their enclosure, but anything we can give them to sort of challenge them and make it more enriching for them is really good. Capuchins are very, very intelligent, and they really need a lot of stimulation and get busy. And Franco's group particularly, they're a very, very bright group, they're very inquisitive, and they're a very, very feisty bunch. So if they're foraging and picking things up, it sort of keeps them out of trouble a bit more.
The Capuchins will need to assess how best to access the treats and use their dexterity and brain power to avoid the spiky plant tops and prickly thorns. The new additions to the enclosure spark their interest straight away, and they rush out to check out the unusual breakfast, making lots of happy Capuchin sounds. They're soon tucking in. The clever Capuchins are good at grasping and manipulating objects. It doesn't take them long to work out how to free the blackberries from the prickly thorns. Some of the brambles and teasels have been put in challenging locations, which are hard to reach. But it's not a problem for agile Fiona. The group is made up of 10 females and 5 males. Only 2 were wild-caught, Mary and Lucy. The rest were born in a Chilean laboratory. For the last 5 years, the whole troop has been led by Franco.
He surprised us. No one thought Franco would ever take over the group. He gave us no signs. He was always a bit of a whingy crybaby when he was younger, really. But he took over the group, and he's probably got the most challenging job of our male Capuchins, because he's got all the other young males underneath him that he has to keep in check, plus all the young feisty females. So, yeah, he's done really well, actually, with controlling his group and policing them. And then, to be honest, the girls, their hierarchy's been very up and down over the last 18 months. We've had a lot of changes, and they've still not really sorted it out at the moment, because Frida's Franco's favourite. She gets his backing if there is a fallout between them.
Franco's is the youngest group of Capuchins at the park. They've mostly grown up together, but have very different characters and varying abilities. Fabian and Donny are the youngest members of the troop. Fabian is also one of the most athletic. He's an expert climber and the most likely to take on any challenge at height. He's also extremely intelligent and good at problem solving. He quickly works out how to get at the mealworms hidden in the teasel seed heads. Today's enrichment has proved to be a success for the primates and the staff.
It's one of the fun parts of the job is being able to challenge them, because they are so intelligent. It really is fun challenging them, giving them new things and watching and seeing if they can solve it. And to be honest with the Capuchins, quite often if they can't solve it, they'll just destroy it and get the food anyway. And again, that's part of the fun of working with them. It's nice to see when they really have to work for something, and it keeps us on our toes as well.
Next time on Monkey Life, a gibbon family is released back into the wild at the park's sister sanctuary in Vietnam.
Whole family together, little baby on board, reaching out and grabbing its own bits and pieces. Only day 1, but good first day.
And, back at the park, Queen of Bubbles Arme doesn't share, not even with Big Boss Tuan.